It's time for the 2016 edition of the Celtic Christmas Podcast, show number 44. The Celtic Christmas Podcast is brought to you through the generosity of the patrons of the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast.
Strange and lovely laughter down the hall. Tucked in tight, I lie awake enthralled. Too young to join the fun, I grew and they were done. Christmas Eve, bittersweet reverie. Reverie, reverie. Ever so nostalgic, I imagine it to be. And women old and wise and worn, sharing secrets through to Christmas morn. A toast the host agrees, a fine collection we. Christmas Eve, bittersweet reverie. There was one less table setting at the meal. I found out what exactly wasn't real. And every year I yearn, I wish I could return. Christmas Eve, bittersweet reverie. Reverie, reverie. Ever so nostalgic, I imagine it to be. Somewhere now exactly as it was, where I could just drop by there just because, just to hear them laugh out loud and maybe make them proud. Christmas Eve, bittersweet reverie. Lovely laughter down the hall. Tucked in tight, they lie awake enthralled. Too young to join the fun, they'll grow and I'll be done. Christmas Eve, bittersweet reverie. So nostalgic, I imagine it to be. Men and women, old and wise and worn, sharing secrets through to Christmas morn. A toast the host agrees, a fine collection we. Christmas Eve, bittersweet reverie. Christmas Eve, bittersweet reverie.
Welcome to the Celtic Christmas Podcast. I know it's November and it's a bit early to start sharing Celtic Christmas music, but I wanted to make sure that you know that the Celtic Christmas Podcast is back once again this year. It was actually knocked offline when I switched servers and whatnot. So it is back up on iTunes and all of your favorite podcatchers, so you can go subscribe. I have a new website, CelticChristmasMusic.net/podcast, where you can subscribe to all things Celtic Christmas Podcasty, as well as Celtic Christmas music related. So if you love Christmas music and you love Celtic music, then this is the place you want to be this holiday season. You'll enjoy hours of great Christmas music and entertainment from many of the best indie Celtic musicians online. All right, the first artist you heard was Steel City Rovers. It was from their album Grand Misadventures, Christmas Eve Reverie. Next up is from my CD, Celtic Christmas Greetings. This is Frosty, the Irish Snowman. Frosty, the Snowman, was a jolly cracking soul, with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. Frosty the Snowman belongs to the fae, they say. He was made of snow, but the wee ones know how he came to life one day. There must have been some magic in that old tweed hat they found, for when they placed it on his head, he danced a jig all around. Frosty the Snowman was alive as he could be, and the children say he could laugh and play just the same as you and me. Frosty the Snowman knew the sun was out that day, so he said, let's run and we'll have some fun now before I melt away. Down to the village with the shillelagh in his hand, running here and there all around the square, saying, catch me if you can. He led them down old Galway town right to the traffic cop, and he only paused a moment when he heard him holler, stop. Frosty the Snowman had to hurry on his way, but he waved goodbye saying, don't you cry, I'll be back again someday. Thumpity-thump-thump, thumpity-thump-thump, look at Frosty go. Thumpity-thump-thump, thumpity-thump-thump, over the hills of snow. Thumpity-thump-thump, thumpity-thump-thump, look at Frosty go. Thumpity-thump-thump, thumpity-thump-thump, over the hills of snow. That was Caitríona with Christmas Eve from Savor the Notes. Next up is Rosanne Cash. This is from an album called the Wexford Carols, a collection of 17th and 18th century Irish Christmas songs, mostly lost to history until recently. They have been recorded together by celebrated Irish singer Caitríona O'Leary, along with a cast of American and UK Grammy winners like Rosanne Cash. Here's Behould, Three Kings.
Behold, three kings come from the east, led by a star of stars, the best, which brought them where they did espy the King of kings and Savior lie, with gold and myrrh and frankincense. They do adore this newborn prince. Yet strange, what did these three kings see that might by them adored be? A tender babe laid on the ground, yet they submit, scepter and crown, their gold, their myrrh, their frankincense, for to adore this newborn prince. Then let us with those three kings bring our gifts unto this newborn King, our sense, our will, our wit, our heart, and all that e'er we can impart, our gold, our myrrh, our frankincense, for to adore this newborn prince.
My name is Francis Tolliver. I come from Liverpool. 2 years ago the war was waiting for me after school. To Belgium and to Flanders, then to Germany to here. I fought for king and country I loved dear. It was Christmas in the trenches, where a frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were still, no Christmas songs were sung. Our families back in England were toasting us that day, their brave and glorious sons so far away. I was lying with my messmates on the cold and rocky ground, when across the lines of battle came a most peculiar sound. Now listen up, me lad, says I, and each soldier strained to hear, as one young German voice sang out so clear. He's singing bloody well, you know, my comrade said to me. Then one by one each German voice was joined in harmony. The cannons, they were silent, and the gas clouds rolled no more, as Christmas brought us rest from the war. Well, as soon as they had finished and a reverent pause was spent, God rest ye merry gentlemen, struck up some lads from Kent. The next they sang was Stille Nacht, that's silent night, says I, and in two tongues one song filled up that sky. There's someone coming towards us, our frontline sentry cried. All sights were trained on one lone figure, trudging from their side. His truce flag like a Christmas star shone on that plain so bright, as he bravely strolled unarmed into the night. Then one by one from either side walked into no man's land. With neither gun nor bayonet we met there hand to hand. We shared some secret brandy and we wished each other well, and in a flare-lit soccer game we gave them hell. We traded chocolates, cigarettes, and photographs from home. These sons and fathers far away from families of their own. Young Saunders played his squeeze box, and they had a violin. This curious and unlikely band of men. Soon daylight stole upon us, and France was France once more. With sad farewell we each began to settle back to war. But the question haunted every heart, who lived that wondrous night? Whose family have I fixed within my sights? It was Christmas in the trenches, where a frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were warmed as songs of peace were sung. But the walls they'd raised between us, though exact the work of war, had been tumbled and were gone forevermore. My name is Francis Tolliver, in Liverpool I dwell. Each Christmas come since World War I, I've learned its lessons well. That the ones who call the shots won't be among the dead and lame, and on each hand of the rifles we're the same.
That was Seamus Kennedy from his album Barrooms and Ballads. That was Christmas in the Trenches, and he has an album all of Christmas music as well. great album to have if you want to enjoy some good Irish Christmas music over the season. I have one more song to play for you. But first, I want to let you know that since the show has not been on iTunes for the past year, I guess, all of the ratings are gone for this show. So I would really appreciate it if you would head on over to iTunes and rate the show. Let me know, and others know, what you think of the Celtic Christmas Podcast. My goal is to provide you with great Christmas music with a Celtic flavor, and I'm hoping that you will enjoy it throughout the holiday season. This will be your music to listen to as you put up your Christmas tree. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Celtic Music Magazine. This is our free newsletter and your guide to the latest Celtic music and podcast news. You can get 34 Celtic MP3s for free when you sign up today. And how's that for a great Christmas gift? And obviously, I do want you to support the artists in this podcast. If you enjoy it, buy their CDs, download the MP3s, see their shows, and drop them an email to let them know you heard them on the Celtic Christmas Podcast. We're going to finish up with Eddie Biggins. This is Miss Fogarty's Christmas Cake from To Drive the Cold Winter Away.
As I sat in me window last evening, the letterman brought it to me, a little gilt-edged invitation saying, Gillogly, come over to tea. I knew that the Fogarty sent it, so I went just for old friendship's sake. The first thing they gave me to tackle was a slice of Miss Fogarty's cake. There were plums and prunes and cherries, there were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too, there were nuts and cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, sure to work up a fine stomach ache that could kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. Miss Mulligan wanted to try it, but really it wasn't no use, 'cause we worked on it over an hour, and we couldn't get none of it loose. Till Murphy came in with a hatchet, and Kelly came in with a saw. Miss Fogarty's cake had the power for to paralyze any man's jaw. There were prunes and plums and cherries, there were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too, there were nuts and cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, sure to work up a fine stomach ache that could kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. Miss Fogarty, proud as a peacock, kept smiling and blinking away, till she tripped over Flanagan's brogans, and she spilled the poutine in her tay. Gillogly, she says, you're not eating, try a little bit more of me cake. No, Mrs. Fogarty, says I, any more and my stomach would break. There were plums and prunes and cherries, there were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too, there were nuts and cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, sure to work up a fine stomach ache that could kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. Maloney was took with the colic, old Donald's a pain in the head. McNaughton lay down on the sofa, and he swore that he wished he was dead. Miss Bailey went into hysterics, and there she did wriggle and shake, and everyone swore they were poisoned just from eating Miss Fogarty's cake. There were plums and prunes and cherries, there were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too, there were nuts and cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, sure to work up a fine stomach ache that could kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. There were plums and prunes and cherries, there were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too, there were nuts and cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, sure to work up a fine stomach ache that could kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake.
The Celtic Christmas Podcast is produced by Marc Gunn. To subscribe, go to iTunes or to our website, where you can become a patron of the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast for as little as $1 per episode. Spread the holiday cheer. Share this podcast, then visit CelticChristmasMusic.net for more details about the artists in this show. Nalachanadiv.